loves, and welcome to my channel. Oh honey, my name is Artisha. I am a mom, a wife, a lover of all things, but I guess we'll get into it. It's story time. So I wanted to talk to you guys about my hysterectomy journey. I'm finally at a place where I'm ready to talk about it. It's been a little bit over a year. So what we are in July. Oh my gosh, time has moved by so fast. And I had my hysterectomy 2023 of April. And so yeah, so just a little bit over a year. So the reason why I had to have a hysterectomy, so a couple different things. So I'm from California and now we live in Las Vegas. And everything about Las Vegas is great except for two things. The healthcare system is not the very best. And of course, yeah, you see me wearing scrubs. I'm in a healthcare system. I am a nurse and a certified lymphedema therapist, and also a business owner of 208 Lymphatics, where I just focus on the importance of lymphatic health. But yeah, so previously before that, me and hubby, we conceived. So we do have one son, so I'm so excited. He'll be 5 years old actually next week. Can't believe we're about to have a 5-year-old. But so we conceived in 2022. Did not know that we were pregnant. And then I found out that I was expecting, and the roller coaster went down from there. So my body was just doing some kind of weird changes, prolonged spotting, cramping, just all these different things. So I did go and seek an OB/GYN that looked like myself, and representation really mattered. I was just like, okay, you know what? I want to see someone that looks like me, and I did. And when I went to her office, she had residents with her. You know, they teaching style, but it was very interesting. When she came, she kind of looked disheveled. However, I was like, let me still give her a try, right? Because when you go to nail salons or hair salons, we're always giving them another try. So I'm like, let me give her another try. And so I did. And then when she came back with the results, of course, she said I had fibroids and so forth. And I am not new to having fibroids. Before having our son, I had 6 fibroids, and it was a lot of blockages and a lot of scarring. And with the grace of God and ancestors and me researching the different herbs and things like that, I was able to shrink those and able to remove scarring and have our beautiful son. And so again, like fast forwarding, she was just letting me know, hey, you do have fibroids, and if you do want to try to conceive naturally first for the next couple months, and if that does not work, then I'll have you to come back to me. So I said, okay. And then it was something weird it was going on with that particular office. And when I say weird, just not professional. Out in the waiting room, I'm in a waiting room, and I get called to the front to talk to one of the receptionists, and just not professional, just telling your business, your medical business out in front of everyone. That is violations across the board. So I was like, no, I don't, this is not it. Like I said, she was disheveled previously before. I forgave that. But then moving forward, fast forward, just like telling your business is just not a good situation. So anyways, I left that particular provider. And then that's again when I started to notice the weird things happening with my body: bloating, cramping, spotting, and just all of these weird things. So I'm like, I have to find a doctor. And in terms of me trying to find another provider, I went to a standalone ER because I was not feeling right. But I did do a pregnancy test. And when I did the pregnancy test, it was a faint line. And I remember that faint line happening when I had was pregnant with our son. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, wow, I am pregnant. Like this is like what's happening, you know. And so I go to the standalone clinic. There, it was weird. Treat me like just like a number. I had never experienced this before. Again, because from California, they just just a different way that they treat you when it comes to healthcare. It's just very interesting. However, so moving forward, I'm asking them, you know, to do like a blood test. Well, before doing a blood test, I'm letting them know I'm pregnant. I take a pregnancy test because I'm starting to feel lightheaded and things like that as well. So they did a urine test and it came back negative. And I was like, wait a minute here. You know, you guys are saying it came back negative. I just took a couple of different ones and it's saying positive, even if it's a faint line. I said, well, are you guys able to do a blood test? Because it'll show like the levels of HCG levels and, you know, it may be low, but each time it'll keep on tripling and doubling. It keeps going up and up. And they were like, oh no, we're unable to do that because our machine is down. And I'm like, okay, this is very weird. And when I go to urgent cares, hospitals, I don't want to let them know that I'm a nurse. I just want them to do their job, right? The job that they signed up for. They went to school. You took an oath to protect and to help and things like that. And so when I seen that they weren't doing what they need to be doing, then that's when I have to let the doctor know, hey, I know this is what the protocol is. And I'm a nurse, it's not. The doctor and the staff were so concentrated and fixated because I'm saying I'm a nurse. Oh, so where do you work at? And those different things, opposed to me coming in, I'm telling you I'm spotting, I'm telling you I have a migraine out of this world, I am dizzy, all these different things. They're not even concerned about that. Their concern was, oh, well, where do you work at? What's this? You know, and I'm just like, this is, am I in a twilight zone? What is really going on here? So moving forward, moving forward, I was on a hunt to try to find another provider at this particular time. And so I found one. And the provider looks like me again. Again, still trying to give. Sorry. Oh, it's nothing like some good water and some lemon. Ooh, some yummy. Moving forward, I was trying to find another provider, again, that looks like me. And representation, like I said, mattered. So, still was trying to find one. And at the time, I hadn't come across anyone that really stuck out to me. And I began, the spotting began to be more of a heavier. And I never forget, at this time I had started a new job. And I was so nervous about this job because my manager at that time, she was a nice person, but you can tell that she had this other streak to her. And so, you know, I just wanted to make sure I was doing the very best. I'm always about handling business, and I was over 4 departments. And so as I'm going through this spotting and going through all these different things, at that time, my manager, she had took off. I think she went out of town or something like that. And matter of fact, this was around Thanksgiving time, and I'll never forget this. So at this time now, I am clots, all this stuff is coming out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So I'm thinking the worst, like, man, I must be having like a miscarriage, like something's not right. Anyways, fast forward, sure enough, and we end up losing the baby. We end up having a miscarriage. I end up, after that, finding an OB, and my appointment was set for the early part of December. And that OB, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I researched, I felt good, I felt comfortable. Another one of my coworkers at that time, she mentioned to me too that she goes to her. So I was like, okay, good. Now I feel, okay, confident that the healthcare system, okay, someone went to this provider and they're saying, hey, all great things. This lady, this provider, she was like, listen, we're going to do this, and we're going to do all of these different labs. I am, quote unquote, from California. This is what the provider was telling me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody that's also from my neck of the woods and understands healthcare and all the different labs that needs to be ordered. So remember, December of 2022, and then now we're entering into 2023. So at this time, I'm still waiting for lab results. We're in January, okay? And I'm like, oh my gosh, so we're still waiting. And I was getting ready to start my program to be a certified lymphedema therapist in February. So I'm like, I'm still waiting for these results. So no one's calling me yet, nothing. So I'm having to call and contact the provider. And so once I call and connect with the office manager, she's like, oh, okay, I'll let her know that you're trying to reach out to her. And then the next thing happened where the provider called me and was like, oh, hi, I heard that you was looking for results, or heard that you're trying to, and I'm like, yeah, like I have all these results done in the beginning of December, and now we're pretty much about to head into February. And she's like, oh, this was normal, this was not normal, this was this and that. And also I had a mammogram too. So you're thinking, hey, these results should have been back by this time. And I ended up having to go in. And so thank God my mammogram was normal. And what they were saying is all these different fibroids, I still was having that bleeding. It was crazy. So bleeding where you are dizzy, you're having these headaches, there's all this cramping. Like the stuff didn't really stop. It was just weird. My menstruals was just out of whack. And this is after having my miscarriage. So by this time, again, I go to the provider. And she was giving me a different energy than she gave me when we first started. And this is why it's so important to never switch up on your clients or your patients, because they're going to always remember how you made them feel. And so I had to let her know, like, your bedside manner is totally different. And so from the previous visit. And she took a couple steps back and she was like, you know what, Artisha, you're right. I'm so sorry. And then she started to explain to me all the stuff that was happening in her office and how it's out of whack. And I'm thinking to myself, that has nothing to do with me being a patient. But I'm listening to her because now I'm becoming a counselor. Now, it was very interesting. So then she was just telling me, okay, if you guys want to have a baby, if you want to try for another baby, this is what I suggest for you guys to do. Here are some pamphlets. You can go see a fertility specialist. I mean, all these different things that she was telling me. And I was just like, wait, what? Because again, the thing was we wanted to still be able to try for another child and pretty much kind of go from there. But she also wanted to do a biopsy. That was the whole thing. So she wanted to wait till the next period or something like that after that. So I finished the program to be a certified lymphedema therapist. And then I never forget, that period was crazy and wacky too during that time. In February with me starting. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, after, I remember receiving a phone call like, hey, you know what, we need you to come in because of, just to kind of go over with me like results and things like that. So I'm like, okay. And when I went in, it was like, you know, almost, now that I think about it, kind of going back, it kind of made me feel like the provider was pushing for me to have a hysterectomy, because she was just saying all of these things of gloom and doom instead of saying, okay, hey, this is what we can do besides. And she was finally telling me about her, like being more personable, and just tell me about her story and how she, I believe it was a myectomy or something like that. She did some type of removal. Either it was that or something with cysts that she was telling me that she was removing, and she felt like she wished that she would have had a hysterectomy, because at that particular time, because who's going to help her run her office. It was just very interesting. And so think about it like this. I was thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, I'm going through all of this. At the end of the day, you know, do I want to continue to go through this? Are we going to be able to conceive? You know, you're thinking about, okay, why did you have the miscarriage? All these different things, and your symptoms and things that you're happening now. Of course, I had a chance to talk to my husband. You know, as a man, they don't really understand it. You know, he's very supportive. You know, which way I was gonna go, and then. All I just remember saying at this point, like, okay, you know what, you pretty much like pushing me to go into that direction. So I went into that direction of having a hysterectomy. So now it's like fast forward, trying to get dates and things like that. Now, let me tell you, each time I was coming to her office, it was always in chaos. Okay. It was always in chaos. And I was just like, man, this is crazy. But hands down, she was, from what I was being told and fed, like she is a really, really, really good provider. And she knows what she's doing when it comes to having this type of robotic hysterectomy service done. So I'm like, okay, so at least I feel somewhat safe in the care of her. So moving forward, you go, go into your pre-op. So I go to this hospital and get all, get lab work, get everything done. And the hospital, when I sit down there, they gave me a whole different date than my provider, her office manager was giving me. And so I'm like, wait, what? This is not the date. So we end up talking to the office manager. Like I said, the office was so disheveled, and it was just a mess. So the hospital, we ended up getting it cleared. Okay. Then moving forward, moving forward, it was, let's just say surgery time is getting ready to take place. So they tell you all the different things that you have to pay, and pay the provider's fee before you can have the surgery. And I feel bad for people that are unable to have to pay for something before, because now they're experiencing all of these different things is happening, and they can't even take care of their health because they don't have the funds to be able to fund it. And luckily we had funds, like our savings, part of, to be able to pay at that particular time, because it was like, you have to pay for, the hospital puts you on a hospital plan, but your surgeon, that's one thing. And then later on, we'll talk about the services of, the anesthesiologist, because they got to get paid. Everyone has to get paid at the end of the day. So so now it's, let's just say April. Now it's April of 2023. Okay. And so they tell you here, this is what you need to do before your surgery. and the day before, and all those kind of different things. Oh my gosh, let me go all the way back. Okay, I forgot a huge part about everything. Biopsy. So I remember my doctor saying that we need to take a biopsy, and they scheduled me for a biopsy date. That's what it was. So I have to go all the way back. I'm so sorry, you guys. So biopsy. I remember the provider, they sent me a prescription. And this prescription helps to soften up tissues down below, but it also can send you into a miscarriage, or like you're going into a miscarriage. Okay. So, wow. I remember taking this medication, and you have to take it a couple days before. And oh my gosh, you guys, I remember being, because I was at work, but at home, and I knew I had an appointment. So anyways, I take the medication, I think it was like the night before, or 2 nights before, something like that. And I take the medication, and I am on the computer screen, right? And everyone can see me. And the faces I was making, oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. This is what I want you guys to understand. I was in so much pain. And I had an appointment, I believe it was like 11 o'clock. And so I just ended up taking I had to just take my face off the screen because I was in that much pain. And I remember getting a call from the office manager, and the office manager was telling me that, oh, Artisha, we're going to have to reschedule your appointment. And I'm like, wait, what? Yes, because we don't have some type of instrument that they needed. They didn't have it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, no, we're not going to reschedule this because I just took this medication. I had to pay for the medication, and I am in so much pain. I'm not about to take this medication again. So then she said, oh, well, let me see what I can do. Yes, I need you to figure out what you can do. So then she said, I'm gonna call you back. So she called me back. And I guess she had to borrow the instrument that she needed from another provider, because I guess they ordered this instrument and it didn't make it there in time or something, whatever the case may be. I just know that I was in excruciating pain. So for my appointment time being from 11 o'clock, now it was pushed up to like 10 o'clock. And mind you, we're all like clear across town, so maybe like 40 minutes to get there. So I'm driving myself. You guys, I'm looking crazy at this point because I'm in so much pain. So I get there, and I'm in the room to get the biopsy done. And the doctor was like, wait, you need to make sure, do you have anyone that's going to be driving you home? And I'm like, no one told me about any of this. And so they're like, well, we're unable to do the biopsy. I said, well, why no one would go over, pre-biopsy? And, this is what's going to be needed, like the instructions. And then post, and this is what's going to happen after. No one told me anything. Because my husband was at home, you guys, and he could have brought me to the appointment. You get what I'm saying? Nothing was clear. And the doctor, she was apologetic, but I'm like, well, you have an office manager. This is what's supposed to happen. Like, what is really going on here? So I have to call. So with to stop everything, I have to call my husband and say, sweetie, are you able to come? So my husband had to Uber. This is crazy, guys. My husband had to Uber there. And I was so thankful that he was able to Uber there. Then we end up going, forward with the procedure, the biopsy. Oh my gosh, that was painful in itself. And everything, when I tell you guys, went down from there. So we get in the car, we drive home. I'm cramping. I'm thinking that's just gonna be the gist of it. No, you guys, I was in so much pain that, and I'm talking about from this biopsy and that medication, whatever it triggered. We have we live in it's a 2-story house. I was on the couch, literally, you guys. I could not eat or drink. I was downstairs on the couch for 2 weeks. Okay. I had to stay home for 2 weeks because, again, this bleeding was happening. I felt lightheaded, dizzy. It was a mess. I just remember me unable to care for our son. I'm still trying to work, but I'm doing everything remote from the house. The medication, I said I need something that's strong to be able to help me. And they gave me whatever medication it was. It was strong to be able to help with the cramping, just all this. I was only able to really kind of, because I'm thinking like, okay, man, I couldn't really eat anything. I was barely eating crackers, like those Ritz crackers, drinking a little bit of sips of water, even like Gatorade. It was a mess, a whirlwind, just 2 weeks. And I just never forget this. Like, this was just the worst 2 weeks of my life. My mom even came from California to help care for me because it was a mess. And all the doctors, she was just saying, oh, I've never seen this before. Like, this is just so weird. And anyways, that happened. And didn't matter how I laid, and it was a mess. I'm going to tell you guys, I lost, literally in those 2 weeks, I lost 20 pounds. I kid you guys not. I lost that much weight. It was a mess. Because I couldn't hold anything down. It was just, wow, it was a mess. And that's now when we fast forward into, hey, this is the biopsy and this is what we see. And we do need to do an emergency hysterectomy. And that's how the hysterectomy, and that's why I just kind of feel like, okay, I feel like I was, I don't know, guided or pushed or pushed into having a hysterectomy and not really sure of what my options really were. It was just, again, I went to someone that looked like me and I thought that they would have my best interest at heart. And push, like I said, going into that. And so anyways, I ended up having a hysterectomy. And I want to share with you guys that journey of why I had to have the hysterectomy. And just that whole thing happening. So it's a mess. So like I said, that's why I had to have the hysterectomy. That's where the biopsy came into place. And so that part. So I want to talk to you guys about that. My next video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the day of hysterectomy and getting to that point. And then I want to, then that way you guys can understand. So I don't want to, I know I'm feeding you guys a whole lot and this is a whole lot to take in. I want to make sure that you guys understood, like, oh my gosh, this process. All right, you guys, I'll be sharing with you guys on the next video of the day of hysterectomy, and we'll go into that. All right, bye.
Oh, that's history.